Hey everyone, today I want to talk about a mythical figure that many people fully expect to see sometime in the future, the so-called Antichrist. Shalom everybody, and welcome to Beit Tefillah. I'm sure most people watching this video have heard of an Antichrist figure that Christianity claims will arise near the end of days. There are thousands and thousands of videos on YouTube that make many guesses as to who the identity of this Antichrist is, or who he will be, or who he might be. This figure is also tied into the mark of the beast, which is something else that's found only in the New Testament. Recently I did a video explaining why there will be no mark of the beast, and I'm going to link that video below in the description. This fictional New Testament promotes an evil being like a devil that it deems to be the god of this world. We now understand that there is no such thing as an evil entity named Satan or the devil, as the idea for such stems from the pagans' belief of the god of the underworld. I also did a video on that subject entitled The Truth About Satan, and I'm going to link to this video below as well. Both of these videos are very important to watch and understand, as that information is needed to better understand why a lot of this New Testament stuff is fictitious. It doesn't match the Tanakh. It's not real. So with the devil and this whole mark of the beast thing out of the picture, that removes quite a bit of the fear and validity that Christianity has given to some kind of Antichrist appearing at the end of days. We hear Christians warning people, hey, beware this Antichrist talked about in the book of Revelation that's going to come and give everybody a mark at the end of time. So I'd like to ask Christians, how many times do you think that Antichrist is mentioned in the book of Revelation? The truth is, Antichrist is never mentioned in the book of Revelation. Antichrist is mentioned only 4 times in the New Testament, 3 times in the book of 1 John, and 1 time in the book of 2 John. I don't like reading anything from the New Testament anymore, but occasionally I have to in order to dispel some falsehood like I'm doing with this video. So let's read those verses, starting with 1 John 2:18. Little children, it is the last hour, and if you have heard that the Antichrist is coming, even now many Antichrists have come. This is how we know that it is the last hour. 1 John 2:22. Who is the liar except the one denying that Yeshua is the Messiah? This is the Antichrist, the one denying the Father and the Son. 1 John 4:3. And every spirit that does not confess that Yeshua Messiah has come in the flesh is not of Elohim. And this is the spirit of Antichrist, which you heard is coming, and now is already in the world. 2 John 1:7. Because many who are leading astray went out into the world who did not confess Yeshua Messiah as coming in the flesh. The one is he who is leading astray, and the Antichrist. So from reading the only 4 references we have in the New Testament, does it sound like John paints this Antichrist out to be some big scary dude at the end of days, passing out 666 tattoos or marking people with some frightening salvation-stealing mark like the Christians say that he will do? According to the writers of the book of 1 and 2 John, back in his day, many Antichrists had already come, or as he put it, were already in the world. So this is past tense by about 2,000 years now. And according to the writer of 1 and 2 John, the spirit of Antichrist is one that denies that Yeshua has come in the flesh. So to recap here, according to the 4 times that the term Antichrist was mentioned in the New Testament, we can take note that according to the writers of 1 and 2 John, that there will be many antichrists, that they were already on the scene about 2,000 years ago, and an antichrist pertained to anyone that denied that Yeshua had come in the flesh. And that's quite a far cry from what modern religion claims this antichrist is, who he will be, or what he will do. What is written in the New Testament regarding an antichrist appears to be much more benign, and it has nothing to do with Christianity's picture of the antichrist that they warn people about. Messianics believe that the New Testament is a legitimate part of the Bible, but they don't even know their New Testament well enough to make these simple observations about it themselves, or to notice that what these verses say, compared to what they believe, just don't add up. You know, I'm sure if there was going to be some evil and scary Antichrist dude at the end of days who would be passing out 666 tattoos or marking people with some kind of evil mark, that somewhere Elohim would have mentioned it, or certainly at least had one of his prophets say something about it. But of course, in the Tanakh, we have nothing. Let's hear this again from 1 John 2:22. Who is the liar except the one denying that Yeshua is the Messiah? So I ask you, who is really the liar? Since Messianics believe some kind of New Testament Messiah to be their Savior, let's compare to what's written in the Tanakh in Isaiah 43:11, where Elohim says, I am Yehovah, and besides me there is no Savior. And in Hosea 13:4, but I am Yehovah your Elohim since the land of Egypt, and an Elohim besides me you shall not know, for there is no Savior besides me. So once again I ask, who is the liar? It's not Elohim, so it must be those speaking in contrast to what Elohim told his people, such as, in this case, the writer of 1 John. Elohim and his prophets said nothing about a coming Savior as portrayed in the New Testament, because all the prophets knew that Elohim said that he is our only Savior. So logically then, because we know that Elohim never sent a Christ, how could churchianity's portrayal of their Antichrist be real? It's not. It's kind of like a psychological ploy trying to get people to believe that you'd better be with Christ and not against him, or you'll be an Antichrist. People tell me that I'm an Antichrist because I teach against the belief of this Jesus Christ or Yeshua idol. And I thank them for noticing. Because I am anti or against a fictitious Christ figure, I am anti-idolatry as an anti-golden calf or any other idol that people believe is a stand-in for Elohim. And in that same vein, I don't think that Messianics realize that Elohim is also Antichrist. They should let that sink in. People might say, well, what about this beast that's mentioned in the book of Revelation? Well, the book of Revelation is supposedly about a series of visions that this John guy had, and he kept seeing this beast in his visions many times, such as we can hear in Revelation 13:1. And I stood on the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast coming up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns. So beast in that verse comes from the Greek word therion, and it occurs 46 times in the New Testament, and the definition of that word simply means a dangerous animal, a venomous wild beast. Notice that evil, scary man is not part of that definition in any shape or form. This was a wild animal that was a stand-in the supposed series of visions of John. And then John talks about the number of this beast's name being 666, and oh wow, how scary of a number is that? We also mentioned that there are thousands and thousands of videos on YouTube of people claiming to know what 666 means or who it is attributed to. They do all this math and puzzle-solving malarkey trying to figure it out. Yet in the oldest manuscript we have, a papyrus fragment of the book of Revelation, that number wasn't recorded as 666, it's recorded as 616. Not that it really matters since all this is fictional anyway, but I just wanted to mention that as well. Elohim spoke very plainly, as recorded in the Tanakh. There are not little secrets hidden away here and there and little things that allude to this or that. He spoke very plainly, and he repeated himself often. And he tells us in Isaiah 45:19, I have not spoken in secret in a dark place of the earth. I have not said to the seed of Jacob, seek me in vain. I am Yehovah speaking righteousness, declaring matters that are straight or plain. And quite plainly, there is no Christ, as in Christos, or New Testament Messiah, as spoken of in the fictional New Testament. So in this same vein, logic would tell us that the whole idea of this devil in man form, or the singular person of the Antichrist that they fear coming at the end of time, is fictitious as well. So I hope this video blessed you. Thanks for watching, and please sub to our channel if you haven't done so yet. A shalom to all of those who are Yisrael scattered worldwide in the dispersion. Everybody be blessed, and have a wonderful day.